For me, remote work has given me opportunities.
Remote work to me means flexibility.
Remote work for me is freedom.
It's sort of freedom.
It's a sense of freedom, flexibility.
If you're prioritizing freedom and flexibility in your life, what does that mean for us even as a society?
When I'm in the office, I'm commuting an hour plus each way every day. Just getting that time back has been huge for me and for my family. And I've been able to participate much more in activities with them. Again, because I'm, not getting home after 6 p.m. every day. I'm not leaving at 7 a.m., just to make sure I get there on time. So there's just been such a time benefit overall.
When I was in the office, I feel like I'm not going to say a cog because I don't think I was a cog in the machine. But I didn't really have a lot of time during the week to explore different interests. It was really just like 25 hours of commuting to work every week. And so when you think about that, you're like, where am I going to have the mental energy to spend on a hobby or, meeting new people or learning something new, right? I think the time is just decreased unless you stay up super late or you cut into your personal life with your partner or your friend or your family. If I wasn't working remotely, I wouldn't really have a lot of the interests that I have right now.
Being remote is pretty freeing for me. It allowed me to very segment how I need to work out my day in these better chunks and not feel like I had to have the repercussions of not performing through those times that I'm at my desk. If I need to take a break, I can just step away, do something different, help my wife out, be with my child, and then come back fresh. I don't feel that consequence of not performing because that's something in a work environment that kind of hung over me, is that if I'm at this desk, I can't go anywhere really to take a break, and I need to perform right now.
It's very easy when you're in an office environment to feel like people are kind of watching you, right? And feel like someone's looking over your shoulder and maybe questioning what you're up to. And I think one of the advantages that I'm finding with remote work is that we don't have that. We don't have that kind of, or at least I don't have that feeling of somebody watching over me. And so I feel like I can take the time I actually need to take to do specific research or look up something that I've forgotten and relearn it, or, get up and go and make myself a drink and have a screen break for half an hour because, I've got a bit of a headache, or even I feel like I need that space.
I mean, location today is a barrier, and it shouldn't be a barrier. Why should where you were born or where you live define what job you get?
It's a sad fact that if you live in a handful of cities around the world, you have access to high-paying, high-growth, high-fulfillment jobs or careers than if you live essentially anywhere else in the world.
When I think of remote work, I think of opportunity. I think of the limitations of community, people in their rural communities. You a lot of times where you want to live doesn't always have the opportunity that you want, and so you settle with what's available.
These are the most important things that remote work can do for the world. This can literally be life saving and altering for so many people around the world.
I mean, if we're talking about the basics, it's brought jobs to people that would never have not even had access to them, not even comprehended that they were, I guess, worthy, that they were good enough to have these jobs. Never mind just the infrastructure being there for them to find those jobs or for the jobs to find them, to actually even conceive that it was a possibility.
And suddenly you say, it doesn't matter where you come from, we want you to join. Can you imagine what that does for an individual? As an individual who is now in a different income tier, create that systemic change for your family unit and for your community, because you can give back.
Then coming back to the point of having added flexibility in their lives, I think a lot of people didn't even realize that usually I'm not able to get 4 hours of work continuously or however long continuously, finding 30 minutes here or there between meetings, right? So being able to more deliberately create the work environment so that these people or my employees are able to have a more fulfilling career.
So the way I approach now how I create work has changed a little bit.
I think it's really just allowed more spaciousness for the creativity to flow through.
Yeah, I think I have become more creative in that sense. If I look back at my past, so I started off in fine art, and if I look back to that kind of fine art creativity, when I think about when I was the most creative in that space, it was when I could just put my headphones on, come up with an idea, and just execute it.
I do spend a lot of time just consuming other types of content. And that's been quite a difference in a sense where I do like the fact that I can kind of consume something and then just take some time to let it digest. I don't have to just go full steam ahead. Because for me, I like things to kind of fester. I like things to kind of just sit for a little bit, and I could think through like, how can I make this better? How can I make this worth my time doing and worth whoever's going to be watching?
If I'm facing a problem in my job, like I'm writing a blog piece and I can't, I'm just struggling. I've hit writer's block or whatever it is. I have to respond to a difficult email. I find myself stepping away from the desk and doing a creative task like painting, watercolor painting, or playing the piano, because that just helps that energy flow out. So, and then, yeah, I am more productive as a result of it, because I can just kind of like disperse that energy and then come back to my desk and be like, okay.
I think interestingly, and maybe looking at this, I can draw some conclusions around it, but it feels like since I've been able to be in this state, I can just get more quality work done. Rather than just more work, it's more quality work.
Remote work can be very beautiful and very liberating, and it can be incredibly creative.
It's not made me feel like I had to put any one thing before the other thing, when there are so many important things in my life that get equal or higher priority.
I'd argue that I'm, 2 or 3 times more productive than I would be if I was living within the constraints of a normal 9 to 5.
Yeah, it allows me to be much more happy, much more productive, and give my best to other people.
It's been very beneficial in the sense that I kind of want to be a stay-at-home dad.
It's so hard to imagine not being remote now.